So welcome. We have another hot days coming up. So I wanted to do this particular class so that we could go inward. It's going to be a lot of twists and a lot of forward folds, which I think is really good at this time anyway, on this summer practice. And you can always come back to this as you come into the hive. Just come back into this. I'll probably call this twists and folds. And so you'll know what class to be looking for. So when we're thinking about this time, this COVID time, actually for the first time in a long time, wow, since February, my sister is visiting, and it's so nice to have somebody actually in my house. And I realized even just a little sense of normal, how wonderful that feels to just have a little sense of normal. We're asked in this time to constantly be vigilant, constantly to reinvent ourselves, to be flexible. And that's just not only in our mind, but in our bodies. And I think we're going to have to sustain this for a long time. So be grateful you have a yoga practice that teaches you and helps you to learn how to evolve these kinds of graces into your life and into your practice. They are graces because we don't want to live in suffering. Even though we are in very difficult times, we can choose to navigate, and that's really what we are looking for, is ways to navigate through this so that we can stay centered, we can be resilient, and also thrive. Learn as we go along. As the human experience is always about learning. It's always about transitioning. It's always about going to a different place. And when we stagnate, it's just like water that stagnates. You get a little swampy. So this is a way to be able to stay alive and stay active, both in your life, in your spiritual life, and in your physical life. So come into that seated pose that supports you, index finger and thumb together in Chi Mudras. We find that resilient part of ourselves in this practice today. Let your sits bones find their way to the earth and lift up through the spine. And let your breath move down into the belly. And just really appreciate everything that your body does every day, all the unconscious things, the conscious things, the way in which we are able to be sensory machines out in this world of incredible miracles. We can really taste and savor this life. So let the breath move down into the belly, increasing the time. So there's 4 long, very long counts in and 4 very long counts out. Just breathing in and exhaling out. Let your mind stay with this longer breath. Begin to connect to the midline. It really is key to centering our energy inward, to connecting our mind, body, and soul together in one place. Really taking advantage of what yoga is all about, which is union. Keeping your breath long and deep inside the belly. Then with your next inhale, let your breath go all the way down into the belly. Then let it rise all the way up to the lungs, and then from there all the way up to the base of the neck. You want to hold at the very top of the inhale. This is where we learn patience. Just stop, just pause. And then exhale out from the throat, down into the lungs, and then again into the belly. And just savor this breath. I know that's a word that Manny uses a lot. Savor. So allow yourself to be in the breath. Recognize it for the life form that it actually is prana, nutrition. It connects us to the earth, connects us to our inner being, our inner landscape. And then with your next exhale, allow your chin to come down to the chest as you breathe into the opening of the neck and the upper part of the back. Just see if you can go a little further down as you begin to just breathe into the space and relax into the space. So we create a sense of opening even here, connecting a quiet mind to an open heart. A few more deep breaths in. Now release your hands from your thighs and bring them to the floor on either side of your hips. And on the inhale, lift the arms and lift the gaze in the seated sun breath. And turn the palms and exhale with your fingertips down and your chin to the chest. And then the palms roll upward again, arms and gaze all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale, fingertips down and chin to the chest. 2 more times, palms roll all the way up. Turn the palms and exhale. I want you to feel the air in the palm of your hand, and also you're moving through your own auric field. Palms all the way up. Hands go to prayer over your head, then down to the heart as you close your eyes for a moment and breathe into your own inner landscape. And I want you to dedicate this morning's practice to whatever serves you, whatever you would like to dedicate the practice to. There's so much in the world that needs prayer at this time. So let's dedicate your prayer to this practice, to whatever feels right to you this morning. And I want you to breathe into that intention and just feel that meaning of devoting your practice to whatever it is you wish at this moment. There is both a heart connection to it, an intellectual connection, and a spiritual connection to your prayer. And feel the power of that. And then opening up your eyes and releasing your hands. Now stay in the seated pose. I'm sure your favorite leg is in front. We're just going to change whatever that favorite leg is in a little bit. Or your legs can be straight out, whatever works for you. But I want you to sit up strong. Let your spine begin to expand. Take the head of the arm bone up and back. Let your left hand go onto the floor. The right arm reaches up, and you're just going to stretch. And at the same time, just feel your right hip begin to connect to the earth as your hand connects to the sky. And then release and come all the way back. And left arm reaches up and over, breathing in. Again, feeling the morning stretch, feeling the morning breath on that side of the body. Release that, come all the way back one more time. Right arm reaches and over. Breathing in. Now see if you can go a little bit deeper this time. Then I want you to do a turn where you're bringing your left arm, your left elbow to, your right elbow to your left knee. Let me go back just a little bit. So you're stretching at an angle forward. Breathing in. So now we're going a little bit deeper into the lower back. Inhale and come all the way back up. Left arm reaches up and over first. With a nice deep rest, let your hip settle. Now you're going to rotate the torso so that your left elbow is going to your right knee and stretch. We're just allowing for a deep stretch on the left side. Breathing in. Just feeling what little cobwebs might need to be taken out this morning. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Switch your legs. Let your second happy leg go in the front. We're going to do the same thing with the stretch on the side. Inhale, right arm up and over. You're going to feel a difference in your stretch. And then let go. Let your right elbow go to the left knee. Breathing in. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Left arm reaches up and over. And depending on how much of an awareness you bring to any of these rather simple poses, can be very profound in your body. Rotate the torso so that the left elbow is going towards the right knee, and breathe. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Good. Let your feet be mat width apart. Move the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. Fingerprints behind you. So your fingerprints are going towards your hips, and you're just going to bring your knees over to one side, to the left and to the right. Just kind of noticing what is tight, what is more loose, what is your body feeling this morning. Can you hold the head of the arm bones up and back, or do they begin to collapse? So just notice your own body's tendency. Good. And then you're going to keep them to the right. When the next time that you're on the right side, lift all the way up, and you're rotating all the way around. So this is early in the practice. So you may not go as deeply as you normally go, but go to where it feels right to you. Then you're going to bring your elbows onto the floor. And again, breathe into the left side body. Breathing in, a nice deep breath. Goodness, so feel the breath moving through the body. I personally feel like the yoga practice is all about the breath moving through the body. It's finding that deep inner connection. Then inhale and come all the way back up again to the seated pose where your knees are up and your feet are mat width apart. Fingers are towards your hips. You're moving the head of the arm bone up and back. I'm going to switch. And then knees go off to the side. And each time, inhale up, exhale over. Let this be part of your prayer. Inhale up, exhale over. Let the breath just determine the intention. Feel the intention moving through your body. Inhale over to the left side this time, coming into the Z position. Rotate so that your hands are moving towards the back. Then come down on your forearms and breathe. Breathe into the right side body. We have time here to actually feel the difference between the left and the right. Just kind of begin to recognize your body, what it needs. And if it feels tighter on one side than the other, and just bring more breath to that space. Good. Then press into your elbows, press into your hands. Come all the way back up into a seated pose. Then come around into a table pose. Fingerprints down, back of the palm, knuckles down. Exhale into a cat. And then inhale, cow, just moving back and forth. Exhale, cat. Tailbone goes down. Last thing to move is your head. And then the tailbone lifts up, and then your head will follow, moving all the way up into the cow. And exhale, tailbone down, belly engaged into the lower back. And then let that release. So you feel your body connect, release, and expand. Moving back and forth with cat and cow. Good. Couple more times. And then coming back into the table pose, Let your belly go up towards the lower part of your back, then bring your right foot forward into low Anjali Asana. So you're going to press into your toes, but then see if you can press a little bit more towards your toe mound itself. So you're on your toes, in the crease of your toes, go a little bit further. So you get a little bit more power into your back leg and engages your quad, and then come forward in the stretch and then inhale up. And exhale forward. And inhale up. Good. Exhale forward. And inhale up. Remember, not blowing out your hip. This is not a contest to stretch your hip ligaments, but is a stretch for your quad. So listen to the big quad muscles. Let them rule how far you go, and make sure that you're stretching them. So it's just inner listening. And then exhale forward. Let your left hand come onto the floor. You're going to press down on your right knee, and then rotate the torso. And then bring the right head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. And breathe. Nice deep breath. Good. Good. Make sure to open up the right side, right head of the arm bone. Good. Release and come all the way back. Step your right leg forward. Press into your hands again, back into the table pose. Curl the toes under. Press hips to heel. And again, we're ripping our mat so that your hands are pressing away, and your toes and your toe mound. See if you can get onto the toe mound. Press in the opposite direction. Top of the thighs press back. Here's where we begin to engage the lower part of the rib cage. Lower part of the rib cage is just going to like hang out on your thighs. Notice that. Engage them. Just bring them in. Could be even a millimeter. Bring them in towards your lower back. Then take all of that and come up into downward facing dog. And then walk the dog, one heel up and one heel down. Breathing in. Keeping a steady stretch. Fingers are pressing away, top of the thighs are pressing in the opposite direction. If you're tight in your shoulders still, you want to begin to come into stillness. Let your heart go down towards the floor. You might feel this is a real stretch on your shoulders. Then bring the rib cage in, bring the upper part of the arms up, and now you have a little bit more room to take the top of the thighs back. That's what we're looking for. The energy going to the top of the thighs back. And then release, come all the way back into the table pose, and take the left foot up this time, right foot back. Low Anjali Asana. And again, see if you can get beyond just the toe creases. Exhale forward and inhale up. Exhale forward and inhale up. Good. Exhale forward. Inhale up. It's always that deep listening. That takes time. It just takes a connection. And exhale forward. Inhale up. Last time, exhale forward. Right hand onto the floor this time. Left hand onto the knee. I'm using the left hand onto the knee and the belly engaged towards the lower part of the back to rotate more. And breathing in. Now take the head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back. So be more aware of what the head of the arm bone is doing than anything else. Let that begin to move independently. Good. And then release and come all the way back. Come back into the table pose. Put your toes together. Let your hips go back. Extended child. And for those that wish to be a little more open in the shoulders, you're going to bring your hands to prayer position. Then bring your hands over your head. So you're pressing your elbow into the floor. head down towards the floor. We're just opening up the front of the body a little bit more and breathe into that. Just breathe into where you might feel tight. Just kind of have a little conversation. Moving the head of the arm bone up and back, making it part of the back body, begins to open the front body. Good. And then release, come all the way back into a seated pose. So I am going to show this with a block. I hope everybody has a block. We're going to come into a standing pose and come into Trikonasana. Right leg forward and left leg back. Your block is on the outside of your foot. So before we actually do Trikonasana, I want you to just kind of feel whether this space between your legs is right for you. And how do you know that? Is that you can feel the stretch. We're just going to exercise a little bit of bending into the right knee, pressing into the foot, the ball mounds of the foot. Big toe mound, inner heel, outer toe mound, outer heel, to stretch the leg straight. And then exhale and bend. The same time you should be feeling a stretch in your left leg. Exhale, inhale up, exhale, bend. Inhale up, exhale, bend. Now hold this for a moment, and I want you to press little toe mound down onto your left, little toe mound onto the floor, and the inner heel, inner toe mound and heel as well. Take the back thigh towards the back. So you want the inner groins to go down. Then you can go a little bit deeper. Good. Now take all of that, stretch the right leg, arms go out into a T position. And you want them active. Remember the midline going right down from top of the head all the way through. You're hugging into the midline. So your arms are extended. You're going to just reach. You're not throwing I don't want you to throw your hip off. Keep your legs straight. You're just reaching for the block with a nice deep breath. Everybody bring your left hand so that it's parallel to the floor. So instead of, I see all kinds of hands going behind your head. Boy, this is a tough lesson. Take the head of the arm bone, bring your hand parallel to the floor in front of you. Yes. Now take the head of the arm bone back. Yeah, so Gina, like you would, like look in front of you. Yes. And your hand is going in that view. And you're bringing the head of the arm bone back, then lifting. Another way to reach, go back to parallel to the floor. Bring your left arm down, bring it over your head and up, and that puts your shoulder in a better place. What you don't want is this. That brings your rib cage out, that pulls you out of line, that takes this forward, and you're going to have damage to your shoulder. The head of the arm bone. So the head of the arm bone needs to sink into socket. Inhale, come all the way back up. Okay. Let me just take a minute to do the head of the arm bone again, business. All right, so here it is this way. Let me actually go, I don't know which is the best way. All right, so we're going to do this. So what I'm talking about is the difference between this. See how my head of the arm bone is forward. So we're in this kind of a pose, right? My head of the arm bone is forward. I can't see my hand. This is in front of my hand. That's what not to do. You want the head of the arm bone plugged in, and then lift. So coming in sideways is a better way. And you want to feel like there's movement in the head of the arm bone. So just do that, just this little bit. You can feel that. You want the head of the arm bone to be part of the back. And this is really important because that engages your serratus muscles, the muscles of your back, the rhomboids, the muscles that are around your scapula, all of which are going to go kind of flabby without plugging in. So this is not acceptable. This is. You want to make it so that you're always seeing your hand in view. Let's go to the other side and see if I can fine tune it. Left foot forward, right foot back. No two sides are the same. Connect to that midline right in between your legs. Just to exercise the legs, you're going to bend the knee, left knee. Press into the foot to straighten. I want you to engage your muscles. So it's not just a snap. You've got intention to the movement. Exhale forward, exhale bend, and then inhale up. Exhale bend, and inhale up. Ideally, you want everything to come together, hugging into that midline. That includes your arms, right? Exhale, inhale. One more time. Exhale, bend. Now, connect to this other part, your other leg, that is actually holding this leg in place. You want the top of the thigh back. That comes from your feet. The feet control that. Then straighten the left, arms go out into the T position. Now let's just do this by bringing your hands a little bit closer. Hug in. I don't know if you can see it. Hollow out the armpit. That's another way. You can see it in me here. Hollowing out the armpit. And when you do that, that's when you feel the back engage. And that's what you want to begin to feel. Take all of that and bring it to its side. Maybe find your block. Do not change your arm at all. Once the head of the arm bone is sunk in, keep it there. Much better, Trish. Nice deep breath. Then inhale and come all the way back up. Good. And shake that out. All right, taking this one step further. If you have a tie, you're going to use it. If you can do this and move the head of the arm bone, then good. But I want you to move the head of the arm bone. And if you cannot, then take a tie. And bend the elbow. Again, we're never here to overstretch the ligaments, not at our age. Maybe not ever, but certainly not now. Do want to strengthen the muscles, and we want to stretch the muscles. So here, as we are in Parvottanasana, you're going to bring your right foot forward and your left foot back. I'm going to show you sideways. Your hips are square. Straight ahead to the small side of your mat. As you're going down in this forward fold, the tendency is to roll the shoulders forward. You've got to stay with your mind here, moving the head of the arm bone back faster than you're coming forward. That's one way of actually beginning to work and open this pose. Both legs are straight, head of the arm bone up and back. Stay with that. Don't let the head of the arm bone go to the earth. Let the head of the arm bone go up towards the sky. Bend your elbows. Inhale and come all the way back up. So the other side, we're going to add the little rib cage in as well, which lengthens your back. Left foot forward, right foot back. I want you to really take your time. Find your midline right here. So from the top of the head, through your legs, head of the arm bone up and back, and you should feel as if your back is holding a pencil right in between your shoulder blades. And as you move forward, bring your rib cage in. Keep the head of the arm bone back, feet connected to the earth, forward fold. Nice deep breath. Good. So you've got to recognize that your head of the arm bone moves downward. Keep it up. Good. Then inhale and come all the way back up. Good. And shake that out. Just for a little relief, let's get our legs wide And your feet are at a 45-degree angle. We're going to bend into the knee and then inhale up. Good. Again, you're falling straight down. Bend into the knee. Inhale up. There's none of this going on. Just straight down. And then inhale up. Good. Exhale, bend. And inhale up. Do all of this with your feet. Let your knees just follow your muscles. Exhale, bend. Inhale up. Why do I say that? Because we want to keep engaging muscle to bone, muscle energy. Inhale up. Exhale, bend. And inhale up. Last time, exhale, bend, add the arms. Again, head of the arm bone up toward the ear and back into goddess. Then to the 5-pointed star. Again, hugging in. Unplugged, plugged. Unplugged, plugged. You want it plugged. Bring your arms up. Bend your knees. And breathe. From here, you're twisting to the right. Bringing your left arm down. Rotating to the right. Keep your legs right there. Breathe in. Good. Inhale, come all the way up, straightening your knees. Good. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale, bend. Press into the feet. Begin to distribute your weight in a way that makes you feel balanced, like you're hugging the midline all the way down. Then rotate around that midline. Then add your gaze. Breathing in. Then inhale and come all the way back up. Hands to prayer over your head, then down to your heart. Good. All righty then. So let's come onto the floor, onto a kneeling pose. So we're not going to move into it. We're going to move into a Virasana, the hero pose. And you may need a block for this, but I want you to try to see where you are. Now, with those with tight knees, you're going to know your edge, and you're going to honor your edge. But you're going to press your hands into your calf muscles. Maybe bring your knees a little further apart, and you're going to begin to sit between your legs. Now, some may be able to sit all the way onto the floor. That's not going to be everybody. But go where you are, and then I want you to lift up. Take a nice deep just to lift up. Good. So if you're here, and this is where you are, then I want you to lift up. I don't want you to rely on the block this time. I really want to work the quads. And bend. Hips to heel, and then lift up. Good. Exhale. Hips to heel, and then lift up. Now is going to be the option to hold Virasana. If you need a block or blocks, I want you to sit so that you can actually feel the stretch through your quads and kind of lift up and find your balance. If you can go all the way to the floor, I want you to hunker into the floor and lift all the way up. Either way, I want you to just breathe into the stretch. So you're either here, holding, and just close your eyes for a moment. Lift up through the spine. I want you to feel, it's a challenging pose. Virasana, the hero's pose. Just breathe in for a moment. Couple of breaths. And then inhale and come all the way back. Come back into the table pose. And from here, let's come into dolphin for Maria's sake. We're going to bring our forearms down, hands come together. So you're clasping your hands. Curl your toes under, and you're going to press hips to heel, just like we do in downward dog. Then bring the bottom rib cage, bottom parts of the rib cage up, lengthening through the spine. That engages your belly as well. Keep that. and then lift all the way up into dolphin. And breathe. Left leg, right leg goes up. Keep your rib cage from collapsing. Then bring your right leg down and left leg up. Good, and then release. Come all the way back. Come back into a seated pose. A nice deep breath. Janya Shirsasana. So we're going to come into Dandasana, inner spiral that's taking the top of the thighs, manually rotating it in so it's opening the lower part of the back. You may need your tie, so have a tie nearby. Going to take the left knee out to the side and then bring it in. So I want you to move your torso so that it's in between the half V that is here, and stretch. So now you're evenly stretching both sides of the lower part of your back, and you're getting a stretch on your left hip. So stretch forward, breathing in. Now this is where it's good to bring the rib cage up towards the lower part of the rib cage up. That gives you a little more power to your core, and then let your core take your hips down to the floor a little bit more. Breathing in. I love this pose because there's so many ways to do that. Then inhale and come all the way back. Now rotate yourself so that now you're square to the short side of your mat. So instead of being at an angle here, we're square. So hips and shoulders are square to the short side of the mat. So here, you're either going to take a tie around your leg, or you're just going to walk your hands down. Your hands might hit your foot. So if you're the person that can actually hit your foot, then you're going to do that. But if you can't, then take your tie. But either way, I want you to bring your rib cage in, engage your belly, send more power down into your hips, and lengthen up through the spine. So it's a forward fold, and I want you to breathe, and this is a summer stretch. If you have your foot, I want your hands on either side of your foot, and I want you to bring your little toe mound towards your ear, little toe mound towards the ear, big toe mound presses away. So we've got to learn how to activate our feet, because that activates our leg. The leg activates the back. It's all connected into that midline. So wherever you are, you're going to pulse forward. Either you're doing this with your hands to your feet, or you're doing it with the tie. Inhale up and exhale forward. And if you find that your shoulders are rolling, bring the head of the arm bone up and back. Feel your back body expand here. The rib cage is in will actually help you. The bottom part of the rib cage in will help you feel your lower back more. So just begin to explore that reality in your own body. And inhale up. So now you're going to take your right arm up and you're threading your right hand across, down towards your left knee, and then you're looking between your leg and your left arm, looking underneath your left arm, still keeping your press, big toe mound away, little toe mound towards your head. Everything is still activated. Rib cage in, belly engaged. Breathe in. It's a deep twist, summer twist. Get the most of it. If you find you're in a really hot day, this could be a nice practice for you to just move inward. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Woo! I know that always gets my side. It's like, all righty then. I'm stretching muscles I didn't even know existed. All right, back. Back to Dandasana, other side. Taking a nice deep breath. So just close your eyes for a moment in Dandasana and just feel the power of your own body. Feel the power of connecting into its opening, because that helps us understand how we are resilient on this planet. Is that it's slow work. It is diligent work. It is joy. And the more we can develop that part of ourselves, the more we can let a lot of the other things go. Like we can tell what is important and what isn't important in our life. So inhale all the way up. This time the right knee is going out. Right foot is going to the left thigh. You're rotating this time. So I'm at an angle now, an angle to my mat, and I'm stretching. Now I love this stretch because I get a hip opener, but it also helps me evenly open my back. So I'm walking, just walking, bring the rib cage up, belly up towards the spine. That helps me bring more power to my hips, down towards the earth. Breathing in, God knows I want that grounding so that I can open more. I need the stability to open. Breathing in. Couple breaths here, just to your edge. Also notice if you've rounded your head of the arm bone, move the head of the arm bone up and back, and let your head stretch in front of you so that you're feeling like your head isn't dipping to the earth, but more lifting up towards the sky. Skull loop, back of the head engaged. And then release and come all the way back. Now turn so that you're parallel to the long side of the mat and looking towards the short side of the mat. And you're either again going to take a tie around your left foot, or we're going to walk to where we find our foot. When you find your foot, even with the tie on, you want your big toe mound to press away and the little toe mound to come to your head. That way you're really using your full 4 quarters of your foot, which you need to stabilize the lower part of your leg and the upper part, but mainly the lower part. So exhale forward and inhale up. And after you do this a few times, you're going to notice like my body goes into autopilot and my rib cage starts to automatically give out. So I'm taking the lower part of my rib cage in only because that's a weak part of my body, and I want my back body to be stronger. So the way I do that is give more power to the back body, bottom tips of the rib cage in, belly engaged, inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale up and exhale forward. So this time, inhale up, left arm reaches, crosses underneath, and goes towards the right knee. Now, may or may not reach, by the way. You may need to put your hand on the floor. But what you want to do is get this twist, stretch, ground the left hand somewhere. Could be on the knee if you're that open. Right elbow up. And look underneath. And breathe. It's a very deep stretch, so do this with awareness. Do this with breath. And the summer months allow us to explore on this deeper level. Now, if your hand is on the tie or your hand is on your foot, press your big toe mound away a little bit, and that's going to help the hamstrings come on to the floor. We're always looking for ways to open and transition. And then inhale and come all the way back up. Woo! All right, come back into Dandasana for a moment, inner spiral. Now see if you can lift up through the spine, lifting all the way up with a nice deep inhale. See if you can feel that midline, feel the midline more alive inside your bodies. It's like we're stacking blocks on top of one another. And when the blocks begin to talk to one another, then you can begin to do poses you may not have thought you could. So from here, we're going to come to Agni Stambhasana, and we're going to take the left foot under, and then the right foot on top of it. Fire logs, can you see the fire logs? One on top of the other. Now I have to inner spiral and my out, especially on the top leg, inner spiral to settle the knee down a little bit more. So if this is not available to you, you're going to put one leg in front of the other. For those that it is available, you're going to stack one leg, foot to knee, knee to foot, a full expression. But if this is not available, you're going to bring the right leg in front, left leg here. If this is, I'm going to show it in the it's available to you place, but you move it into where it works for you. Inhale all the way up. Left hand crosses over onto the right, left hand, right knee. Inhale up and rotate. Nice deep breath. If you have your leg in front, just notice which leg is in front because we'll switch it. Nice deep breath. Now from here, lift your right arm up. And we're going to stretch the right arm towards, the fingers towards the left knee. So we're in that side stretch again. Breathing in like we did in the beginning of the class. Nice deep breath. And it's all about breathing, and it's all about opening. We're only going to where we are and where we can feel the pose moving through our body. The final expression is what you are doing today. That's all we need to do. Inhale and come all the way back up. It's always that. Bring your legs straight out for a moment. Inner spiral, Dandasana, staff pose. That's such an easy pose. Let's move forward, just like get a little bit of a forward fold again. Breathing in, just connecting to the breath, connecting to the back body with the breath. Back body is so important. It's our universal side. Front body we know really well, it's our ego. And then inhale and come all the way back up. So switch your leg, whichever leg was on top. I'm going to put my left leg on top this time. You're going to notice that one side is easier than another. This is what it is. You can see it in my body too. Once you find your pose, could be that your left leg is in front. You're in a gentle Sukhasana. It's a little bit tighter than normal. Just to prep for fire logs. Inhale all the way up. Agni Stambhasana. Right hand crosses over onto the left this time. And rotate. It's a nice deep breath. And just let this summer song into your body. The trees are singing, the birds are singing, flowers are blooming. It's hot. Just let it all in. Let it inform your body. Inhale and come all the way back up. Good. Come back into Dandasana, inner spiral. Nice deep breath. So from here, let's just do a little bit of core work where we're bringing our knees up, coming into Narvasana, the boat. Notice your tendency to round, lift up, find the balance, spread your toes. You see, I can't do this without my toes being active because my toes will allow me to take my leg out because it's controlling the bottom part of my leg. So you can hold on still, but I want you to really work the upper part of the body, opening the front body so that you're not closed-hearted, you're open-hearted, rounded, and you're strong in your lower back, lifting all the way up. Good, nice deep breath. Good, let the right leg lift and bring it down and then the left. And then bring it down, right leg lifts. And bring it down, and then left. Good, then come all the way back. Come back into Dandasana again, inner spiral. You're crossing your left leg over onto the right. Pressing down into the floor, and not here, but here, lifting all the way up. Toes on the right side are active. So you're pressing big toe mound away, little toe mound towards your ear. So I'm strong in my leg, it's allowing me to settle down. And then right arm lifts, crosses over. So here it's arm to leg, or to knee, knee to arm. You're going to rotate. Now when you've come to your edge, this is where we fine tune it. Rib cage in, lift up through the spine, rotate the torso a little bit more. And breathe, find your summer twist. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Nice deep breath. And then release, come all the way back to center. Both legs straight out and inner rotate the legs because the left side is going to feel a little tighter. Then Paschimottanasana, come forward in a forward fold. Head down towards the earth. Again, little toe mound to your head. Big toe mound presses away. Rib cage in towards the spine. Breathe. Breathe through the whole stretch. And with your next inhale, come all the way back up. And then cross your right over the left. And inhale all the way up. Notice your front body. Keep your front body open. Left arm reaches, crosses over. Inhale up, exhale, twist. Now once you're here, you fine tune it, where you might bring the rib cage in. Engage your belly. Rotate a little bit more. Do it from the other parts of your body. Let your waistline, your rib cage reach for your right knee. Recognize that the twist is through your whole body. Nice deep breath. Then release, come back to center. Both legs straight out and inner spiral again. And then reach forward. Head down towards the floor. And breathe. And then release and come all the way back. Final pose, bringing our feet together in Baddha Konasana. Let your knees flutter. So hopefully you're beginning to feel like the bottom part of your body has gotten a bit of a workout here. You can really feel the strength of your back coming into the front body and how they work together. Good. Let your knees go into stillness and let your heart come forward. And then inhale and come all the way back up again. One more time. Exhale and come forward. Good. Inhale and come back up. Good. Exhale, come forward, and then just reach. Reach. Feel your edge. And when you've reached your edge, breathe into the edge. Get a little more weight in your hip by bringing your belly in towards the spine, bottom part of the rib cage in, and breathe into that stretch. Couple more deep breaths, and then release and come all the way back up. So let's come into laying down into a Shavasana. So allow yourself to relax. I want you to feel the summer song. We've been talking about the summer song that the trees were giving me the other day. Let the summer song come into your Shavasana. Maybe bring back your intention of what you were doing the class for. Just let that settle into, as a prayer, into your Shavasana. Just letting your breath move into its normal pace. Allowing the beauty of the summer practice to settle into every cell of your body. The eyes are the mirror of your soul. What are you seeing today? So allow small movements to come back into your fingers and back into your toes. Let your knees float up into your chest and hug them in, gently rocking from side to side. And then roll to one side as you pause for a moment and just breathe into your own inner landscape. Just let this moment be both real and meaningful. Open space, open heart, clear mind. And then continue the side roll all the way up to a seated pose, bringing your hands to prayer position at your heart center. And together we will do one Om. So take a breath in. Om. May we have peace in our heart and peace in our mind, and true and everlasting peace and healing on this planet. Namaste.